every partner brings something new to the table. I've been blessed with an amazing partnership with my brother in the automotive business that we have, which is Auto Connect, based out of Ottawa. We have the thing that scares people, I think, when it comes to partnerships is I'm going to go back to that slightly. It's brotherhood, but partnerships as well. I think people are scared that they might clash, right? And that's the scariest thing for some people. When you look at anything, when you purchase a property, purchase a vehicle, purchase inventory, get into business as well, you need to plan your exit strategy. And this is something that needs to be discussed prior to beginning. Just very brief. For example, when we first got into business together, Alex, myself, Roy, and
actually, Roy just sent me a message. It's to check out a realtor.ca new property as we're speaking. So
he's already on to the next one. It's like, you're not done with this one.
You can fact check that if you guys want. I mean, that was sent just now.
This is part of the bureaucrats. You have to start now, just to give you an idea of how long it takes to get paperwork going. For a build. We should expect this build to be completed in the spring of next year, final, key in hand. But you have no choice but to start working on the next project now for all the paperwork.
Is it the bureaucrat bashing session? Because I'm down for it.
I'm ready for it. All right, so we'll close it off on teams, brothers, brotherhood, teams. Take that word. Take that phrase, that key phrase, save it somewhere. And if you guys are listening to us, make sure that, you run with this because you'll make it. But now, I think we should give him the mic for this one because it'd be dangerous if I start speaking. So we'll let Mike take a few hits.
Set the tone, huh?
Yeah, set the tone.
I'll try to be, I mean, I've got so much that I could say. I'll try to be respectful, obviously. First thing I'll say is both my parents worked for the government. Both were bureaucrats, okay? So that's important for me to mention. It's close to home.
So you figured out what you did not want to do.
Yeah. And it's funny, ironically, in my school book when I was a kid, because I didn't have any idea what I was going to be, I had two things. I was either going to be an engineer or a bureaucrat. I literally wrote that because I was like, I'll just be what my parents will be. But here's the problem, right? When you actually grow up and you get life experience and you try to do things in the world, there's two kinds of people in the world. People that run towards pain and people that run away from pain. And what's a bureaucrat? A bureaucrat is someone, who creates rules. And I think there is a healthy degree of rules to follow in the world, right? But the bare minimum. There's like when I say healthy, it's pretty much the bare minimum. It's like you've got your 10 commandments, right? Those are pretty decent. And then it's like preserve property rights to make sure that, don't steal someone else's stuff, don't do this, don't do that, respect the others. Anything above that is friction in the system. And so to me, all of this bureaucracy that we've seen sprawl in the last several decades, especially where we're from, which is Ottawa, Gatineau, it's like the federal government's here. It slows things down. And people wonder, why is Canada underperforming their neighbors to the south that have their own problems? But even despite those problems, there's this insane divergence. And why is that? And I said it openly in a group that are supposed to be for entrepreneurs, and they denied. They were like, no, it can't be that. And it's like, guys, open your eyes. If you put rules, like arbitrary rules in place, and you put friction and you make it hard to build, and you make it hard to start a business, and you make it hard to export or import or whatever it is.
Well, it's like basically saying big government or small government, right?
Yeah.
10 commandments. You're talking about our government's too bloated, too much rules.
Absolutely.
I almost feel like you're like the Canadian Charlie Kirk here, but we'll bring that up also after, because I definitely want to have a couple of things to say about Charlie. Charlie is a pretty cool guy. Don't agree with everything, but definitely like to talk about it. But I agree with you entirely, Mike. too much rules, too much regulations. It's too bloated. You're being a little bit maybe more passive. I can't be passive. I've been going through things in my business where I actually work with the provincial and the city levels a lot more than the federal level. So I get to see it firsthand where my business can take hits. You know, I recently lived this situation, and if I tell you this, you probably won't even believe it. So essentially, we had to drop a bid 2 p.m. and we got there. It was like 1:56 p.m. So I still had 4 minutes, right? And then
I remember what you told me about that, and I'm still mind blown.
People are still mind blown. And if he hears about this, it's just going to keep talking about friction, rules, regulation. And then we can come into the word of common sense, because I feel like we're a society that's completely lost common sense, right? We can't even tell people from people or what they are anymore. We can't tell anything. We don't even know what's going on in this society anymore. I mean, common sense kind of just went like flew out the window.
It's pivoting back slowly.
Well, right? Yes, because we've had some crazy movements from our neighbors in the south. Yeah. I think it has also snowballed a little bit into the north. Yeah. I think that we still have a lot of work here to bring back common sense. The good old Canadian dream is a little bit was extinct, but
what is the Canadian dream?
The Canadian dream is to be able to immigrate with opportunity, have a place to build, a safe home. Almost sound like I'm Pierre Polyev right now, but it's the truth. I mean, I know we're jumping from subject to subject, and this is what I love. This is literally how we sound when we're sitting down, right? So I'm going to tell you the story about the 2 minutes, the 2 p.m. thing, and you're going to just be mind boggled. But just that's what it was. You know, Canadian dream is immigrate to Canada, full of opportunity. You know, buy a house, start a family, make sure that your kids have a chance to grow in a safe environment. Know what common sense is, have great values, and defend those values abroad. You know, Canada does have the obligation as one of the countries, like I call it like the it's like the bat light, you know? It's like when people see that, it's like they know it's going to be safe. Well, Canada was that for vast immigration across the entire world. So we need to defend that. We need to continue to defend that, but not defend that to the point where we're going to destroy what Canada once was, right? So back to that friction. I love the word friction because too much rules create friction. And so I'm supposed to be there at 2 p.m., drop off the paperwork, get there at 1:56, sign the paper that we've arrived. So the employee, I can't name the organization, obviously out of respect, but the employee signs 158. 158. So we're legally, we're on time. So they have this thing in French, it's called the horadateur. So it's like a stamp of a clock, but their clock was 4 minutes ahead of time. So when he stamped it, it said 2:02, but his pen wrote 1:58. But my cell phone said 1:58. The big clock said 1:58. The computer said 1:58.
There's no flexibility.
Everything said 1:58, Mike.
Yeah.
Everything said 1:58.
But they threw it out.
And we brought it up, and I escalated, and I went to the top as high as you could possibly think. And he looked at me and said, well, you can do a complaint. I'm like, well, who am I complaining to? He's like, you could send the complaint to me. I was like, what? So I'm going to complain about something you guys are doing wrong that's causing me a massive prejudice. Yeah. So my company lived a massive prejudice because of common sense. Yeah. There wasn't common sense. Yeah. So I wrote them a letter and I said, just say this example. It's like, imagine we lived in a world that operated off 2 clocks. Well, I mean, sometimes for the ones that know me, I do operate on my own clock because I'm always late.
What time did you get here again?
5:05. I said to be here at 4:45, but everybody knows that. But can you imagine if we lived in a world of 2 clocks? Like, hey, Ron, do you want to meet at 5? Are we using your clock or my clock today? Yeah. Like, what kind of world would we be in, right? Or if buses were running on a different clock and they were 4 minutes ahead on their clock, those buses, systematically everybody would miss their bus because that bus is 4 minutes ahead of the clock, the universal clock. So where is common sense? There isn't common sense, and you're just creating policy, regulation, and rules over rules that just don't make sense anymore. And we've completely crossed, I feel like, this crazy line.
I was hanging with a friend earlier at my place, and she was explaining that She's a school teacher. They're not allowed to have a coffee machine in the class because a policy came out this year that teachers aren't allowed to have coffee machines in the class. You ask yourself, why not? No reason. Dangerous for the kids? I don't know. Couldn't anything be dangerous for the kids? Like pencils could be dangerous for the kids. Like, you know what I mean? Like coffee machine? I don't know. But I said this to her. I said, to me, what it seems like from the outside is bureaucrats, to justify their existence, they have to come up with rules. That's their main job. It's to come up with rules and enforce those rules. So when you see the school administrations ballooning, especially even if you go down south, you see Harvard and Stanford and all that, the administrations are what's growing. And the tuitions are going up faster than inflation because to feed the administration. But what is the administration doing? They're just creating new programs and they're creating new rules, and then they have to enforce those rules. And it's a bit of a cancer. I don't want to be like too provocative with that, but it's a little bit of a cancer on the system because it's an extra tax. And the thing that gets me the most is the vilification of entrepreneurs, right? Like you guys, like us, we are working super hard to do what? To create products and services that are valuable in the world. Because if people buy them, by definition, they're valuable, especially for a startup. You could argue that sometimes big companies, they're so entrenched and they've got these monopoly-like properties and they're not as valuable, but let's say startups are. And you go and you make it hard for those entrepreneurs to create more value, better products, better services, more jobs. It's counterproductive. So I really do see it. You said two clocks. I see it like two systems. There's a system that's there to kind of preserve itself. That's the like bureaucratic system, the bureaucracy. In the States, they have this concept, the deep state. I really do believe in the deep state. I've seen it. You've seen it up close. I've seen it up close. It's the permanent bureaucracy that tries to just keep existing, even though it has no more purpose. And then you have the entrepreneurs who are leading in the free market, leading innovatively, products and services, better transportation, better automotive services, a better way to get your, underutilized asset managed, right? Unlocking millions of dollars a year in value in every case. And you're like making that harder to happen. So it's kind of like cancerous in a way. It's my take on it.
How do you feel about the bureaucrats?
I need to be as respectful as possible as well. But I'm going to use the real estate game a little bit because that's new to me and we've encountered a lot of problems with that already. I'm going to go back to, if you buy a property today, you're going to be holding it and paying these interest or just holding it with your own capital for a year. You need to work on plans. You need to work on licenses, permits. You need to do so many different steps in order for you to build what you want to build on that property, maybe potentially a year later.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the minimum of what you're able to do.
And in the meantime, you're carrying the cost, right? Because you bought that thing, you secured it, so you're paying out of pocket.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we had an issue when we first bought this property, where we had we were lucky enough to meet some guys that we knew within the grapevine, and they actually had the plans to get this building up and going. Anyway, funny enough, they already had the plans for that property. We bought the plans from them. Long story short, we applied. There was a small glitch where when they first applied for the permits, they used the old owner's name on the permit. So instead of just going and amending the name and adding our business name to it,
you had to make a request.
We had to apply for a brand new permit, building permit, which took about 4 to 5 months later. So the government now is discussing how, we have a housing shortage.
Yeah, I was going to go there.
We have that. Man, you're holding back a building that's going to potentially...
How much time did we lose?
4 or 5 months.
4 or 5 months, which is
easily
huge.
4 or 5 months. Yeah,
additional to what
the original
4 to 5
4
months
to
that we
5
had
months that we
waited. Yeah.
lost in the beginning.
Yeah.
So 10 months of
For a
no
simple name
shovel in the
change.
ground here.
Yeah.
Simple name change. And maybe a few $100 for
Yeah.
the reapplication.
And,
Right?
and this comes back. I just want to piggyback on that because it's so ironic, right? The government, who always has like clean hands, right? It's never their fault,
No,
but
of course not.
they create this housing shortage by extra friction in the system. And then they bring in millions of immigrants. Nothing against immigrations. My parent was an immigrant, and yours
Absolutely.
were probably too, right? And they bring them in to find that there's not enough housing, so it jacks the price of housing up, and it makes it hard for Canadians to, survive. And then to make matters worse, the solution's sitting right in front of them. It's their entrepreneurs. The entrepreneurs are like, we can build. How many houses do you need? I'll make millions of houses. I'll build buildings.
We're ready for it.
All they have to do is make it easier for us to do business and to go. Follow the rules to make sure that you're building strong buildings that are safe, that all of this. And the best part is they'll never admit to any of it being their problem, ever. It'll never be like, oh yeah, like we do overregulate it for the entrepreneurs. They'll never admit
No,
that.
of course not.
Well, and the thing is, like, I'll give you another example. I have the building on 335 Main here in Gatineau. This one's pissing me off. So if anybody's listening, I hope they're listening. Oh my God, I hope they're listening. 2.5 years that BBL applied for the construction and demolition permit.
Yeah.
So they don't give you the demolition permit unless you get the construction permit. But they won't give us a construction permit, so we can't demolish. Because they're scared that we demolish and then we just don't do anything.
Right.
We're at 2.5 years, and we just found out that they're not even there yet. And they're most likely going to approve the construction sometime in December. So then we're in winter season. So like that goes back all the way down to May-ish if we're lucky, depending on how the weather changes, and it allows us to build.
Yeah.
And that will bring me to 3 years of waiting for a permit.
Yeah.
And it's mind-boggling because it's a piece of junk, old
shouldn't
house
take that
that's
long.
closed. It's nobody can live in there. Even the rats don't want to live in there. And I want to build a sixplex there, so 6 new doors in Gatineau, where people are complaining that there's no housing. But
Value.
What do you mean? Like, how long would BBL build a sixplex for BBL? What do you think? 6, 7, 8 months? They'd have it ready to go.
He'll make quick work of it.
Right?
It's really what I'm hearing is in the construction process, what takes the longest is the administrative
green light.
regulation.
Or what are they teaching? You're not teaching entrepreneurs can run circles around the bureaucrats, but like you're not teaching anybody anything. I mean, you're probably going to like this, but entrepreneurs push the agenda on every single industry, regardless of the industry.
Yeah.
So,
I agree with that. Yeah.
These things was an entrepreneur. It wasn't a government that invented cell phones being the way they are today and how we use them and how we utilize them, right?
Yeah. Well, anything, like you said, any product or service.
People going crazy about electric cars. Well, I mean, it wasn't the government that created the electric car. No. Elon Musk came in with this crazy idea and then it worked.
Yeah.
The United States stopped buying rockets from Russia.
Yeah.
Because of Elon Musk. Elon Musk thought Russia was going to assassinate him at some point.
Yep.
So
by the way, great dovetail here that I've been wanting to say for a while. I'm glad that your podcast gives me the platform, but on this idea of what is it that entrepreneurs are doing, right? That creates value. And there's one word or 2 words, risk taking. That's actually what they're doing that creates value, because for every risk, the opposite side of risk is reward. The reason you're taking the risk is for a gain, but that gain has uncertainty to it. That's why it's a risk. You might not be able to create the gain. The entrepreneur takes the risk upon themselves. That's what entrepreneur actually means. The root word, entreprendre, is they take the risk privately to create that gain in society. And here's the thing that really gets me on something of a personal level is that a lot of it is jealousy with respect to entrepreneurs. And it's they have a lot of, entrepreneurs can become wealthy only if they succeed in taking risks, calculated risks. And then there's a lot of people on the sidelines, probably 90% of the population, that are not willing to do the work or take the risk. And what they'd rather do is say, no, fuck that guy. I just want to tax him instead, or mettre les bâtons dans les roues to like make it hard to do that thing, which makes the risk even higher.
Yeah.
When you make you take, 5 more months for your building, that's extra risk.
Yeah.
Because when you get into a project, you have to ask yourself, are they going to slow me down 5 months or 10 months now?
100%.
That's risk.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
But there's no gain anywhere. It's value destruction. So entrepreneurs, what makes them, incredible, and I am tooting my own horn here and all of ours, is that they are taking risk on behalf of society to move it forward, just like you said.
100%. I think that we've reached a level here in Canada where the government is creating self-inflicted wounds.
Oh yeah, shoot it, gun to the foot, man! Like every day.
And what I'm referring to is Alberta. Like, can they take the handcuffs and just take them back to Ottawa, leave Alberta alone, so that our economy can be as powerful as it's meant to be?
That's an interesting
segue. I don't know how I got there, but I listened to the premier of Alberta. I resonate with a lot of the things she's saying. Recently she said Canadians Canadians should have the right to defend themselves in their homes. Full stop. Pierre Poilievre posted that. I believe that it should be full stop, right? She believes that we should unlock our energy sector. I believe we should unlock our energy sector, because if we're going to lock down our energy sector, but we're going to not lock down the entire world's energy sector, we're not actually really making a big difference, especially the fact that at least we're a regulated country that actually will do things in the proper way, other than these communist countries that are doing it just to profit and not on the backs of their people, right? Like, basically they don't really care. They import people from all over the world, and they pay them maybe nothing, maybe $500 a month to go to work in these oil sands, whether it's Saudi Arabia or Russia or Venezuela, or Venezuela should be one of the richest countries in the world. Their people live in poverty, reserves. And that's not fair.
But that's also corruption.
Yeah,
like that's another.
But it's corruption.
Yeah.
But what's helping this corruption is the ones that aren't doing it in a corrupt manner are locking down. And if you're locking down, you're cutting out supply. So you're enabling these terrible communists or these corrupt politicians to keep selling their product.
Yeah. You're saying like the Venezuelans who are creating oil in a corrupt way are the ones actually selling it to the world, because Canada can't sell our ethical oil.
So unleash us, unleash our energy sector, and you'll up supply, and you have the power to force countries to buy from specific countries with our neighbors in the south, and then that will force these corrupt governments. And I don't know how we got to Venezuela, but Venezuela is probably one of the most beautiful countries in the world with amazing people. Their culture is very similar to Lebanese culture. So maybe that's one of those roots that I like. There's places in Venezuela where it's just packed with Lebanese people. So I happen to know some Lebanese people that have moved out and lived, or have moved or lived or came to this world in Venezuela. So they're Venezuelans, but that are from Lebanese descent. Really cool. Russia, this mean machine that's attacking Ukraine, instead of us pumping these billions of dollars of weapons into Ukraine, unleash our sector to the clients that are buying from Russia. And then now you just cut. I mean, la nerf de la guerre, c'est ton trésorier. I say this all the time. There's a reason why you can't beat Loyal in our industry, because you can't compete with our treasury. There's a reason why you can't beat the US, because you can't compete with their treasury. The more you have, the more unstoppable you're going to become, right? And we have a lot of it. And I was going back to how small governments succeed. And just Pierre Poilievre saying you're allowed to defend yourself, full stop. And then that to me is huge. I mean, I'm a father of 2, father of 3, soon to be a father. Congratulations, by the way. You're going to love it. It's going to be a roller coaster.
It's going to be fun.
But at least you're going to be happy when you get off the roller coaster. He has 3 roller coasters to do every day, so it's even harder.
Wow.
But that's treasure. And you come into, we see break-ins all over the country and people coming into your house, and then it's like, well, you have to use equal force. It's like, can you imagine somebody breaks into your house at 3 a.m. and you're like, what do you got down there? You got a gun or a knife? Are you guys 4 or 5, or, how are you supposed to know? You just woke up at 3 in the morning. You're in shock. Your baby's sleeping not far from you. You're thinking, how am I going to protect my wife and my child? Hell, I don't care where you need to take me, what hole you need to dig me in. But I promise you, you will meet your maker when you come in to my house and you put my daughters in harm's way. I'm sure it's the same way for you, Ron.
Yeah, I've got a like
Absolutely.
this is I don't know if you wanted to say something, because I was gonna build on that a little bit.
Go ahead, and I'll fill in the blanks after if there is any.
Sounds good. So I'm actually torn on the debate of like use of firearms, because if you look at the states, on one hand, I get why it's the Second Amendment.
Correct.
I get why it exists. I'm not an expert, but it's like
sure.
It's yeah, that'd be embarrassing. But it's like it's so that the government could never overwhelm its people, and so the people always had a way to fight the government. Okay, that's like the basis of it. I get that in theory. In practice, because everyone's armed,
We're good.
because everyone's armed, it just makes it so much easier for violence. Like,
I'd have to disagree on
well,
that.
that's good, because that's what I'm expecting.
Debate.
That's what I'm expecting. So it's like you get school shootings, you get all this. I see both sides. On the other hand, Canada, who isn't an armed country, its government has a monopoly on violence, basically, other than hunting weapons here and there. And so it is possible for the government to like subjugate the population if it went to that point.